morning. My name is Zavala Navarrete. My topic project is drug.
It may seem common for young people to experiment with different substances, like vaping, weed, tobacco, Molly, and alcohol. Some may even consider hard drugs such as cocaine, meth, or opioids like heroin. Regardless of the substance, if it's not prescribed by a doctor and taken as prescribed, experimenting with substances can have negative effects. Meet Jeremiah. Jeremiah hangs out with his friends on the weekends. They drink alcohol and occasionally smoke marijuana to relax and get away from the stresses of life and school. One time at a party, Jeremiah smoked something a girl handed to him, not knowing what it was. Later, he found out that it was K2, a synthetic type of weed. His friends told him that he was hilarious and started acting crazy, and that they couldn't wait to party with him again. Jeremiah was concerned because he has no memory of what happened. He wants to be with his friends and have a good time, but he hated not remembering and doesn't want to take another substance like that again. He also feels new pressure to be the life of the party and act a certain way. What happened to Jeremiah is all too common. You start out taking one substance and end up taking something else. A danger in using any substance that isn't prescribed to you is not knowing exactly what it is you're taking and how it will impact you. Unfortunately, young people are being exposed to substances that can have dangerous physical and mental health consequences. As a good rule of thumb, if a drug isn't prescribed to you, you shouldn't take it. Pretty quickly, what feels like casual or experimental substance use can turn into a substance use problem, which has long-lasting and negative consequences. Before you decide to use a substance, know the risks and potential consequences, or reach out to a counselor to talk about it.
Have you ever heard someone joke about being addicted to chocolate? Unfortunately, the reality of addiction is no joke. An addiction can be to a substance, like drugs or alcohol, or to a behavior, like playing video games. So what is the difference between really liking something and being addicted? The difference lies in three main things: obsessive thoughts, feeling like you can't stop, and continuing to use or do that substance or behavior despite having negative consequences. Meet Tony. He really likes video games and plays them every day. At first, he kept up with his grades, but started doing less of his homework. Then, he started staying up later and later to play. This caused him to be exhausted at school. When his parents tried to get him to stop playing so much, Tony got very angry, which wasn't like him. He started skipping school, so Tony's parents had him talk to a counselor. He didn't want to at first, but things slowly started getting better. The real Tony returned when he got some balance back in his life and reconnected with those around him. So how does someone become addicted? Why can't they just stop? Sometimes a person starts using a substance or behavior to fit in. Other times, it's to ease the pain from a traumatic experience or mental health issues. It also has to do with how the brain works. When you do something that feels good or exciting, like eating ice cream, the pleasure pathways in your brain are activated and feel-good chemicals are released. This same pleasure pathway is activated when you consume drugs or alcohol. Over time, the pathways in your brain get used to having this thing in your life, which can make it really hard to stop. If you feel like you just can't stop doing something, you're not alone. With the help of a counselor, you can begin to work to get your brain back from being hijacked. It will take time for your brain to create new pathways, but you can get back on track and find some peace in your life.